Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Broku no Hero. Today we're going to be reviewing the Black Clover chapter 233 that just came out. So, of course, if you don't want to be spoiled, then click away, because it's going to be featuring manga spoilers, inherently, because I'm reviewing the manga. So, that being said, I'm just going to get into the review, so please do leave a like if you enjoyed, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe, and turn notifications to be notified every time I upload a Black Clover video. And also just a reminder, I'm not going to be using very many manga panels just to avoid false copyright strikes from Shueisha, as Shueisha is currently going on a tear giving people false copyright strikes. So, not really worth the trouble for me to try and wait and waste my time to get them to basically cancel them. Just not going to post very many panels of the manga. So it starts off pretty interesting today. Basically, it's Asta confronting Charmy. Charmy gets extremely pissed off for Asta trying to interrupt her meal, and then basically she activates a magical rune of symbols around her, a circle of runes around her, and starts to really confuse the people of the Heart Kingdom. But basically, Charmy turns into a giant sheep, and she has gathered all the gluttonous animals from the forest, and they're going to attack. Basically, she's all just pissed off, and all the other animals are pissed off that they're trying to stop their gluttony, their meals they love to eat. Sir Petrov, who's likely one of the spirit guardians, says that he's probably the one that's responsible for creating this inconceivable monster. So he states it's his mission to stop it, and he's fighting it. He's fighting the giant sheep that Charmy created, and he's not stopping it. Really interesting here. If this guy really is a spirit guardian, which I think he is, wow. Charmy, without her dwarven power, is overpowering a spirit guardian who can use tier 0 magic. And that's where Rill comes up. Now, it's confirmed that Rill and Charmy went through intensive training together with Sir Petrov, and now Rill can use the symbols of the Heart Kingdom with his painting magic, so Rill is going to be a boss, and Rill is attacking Charmy, and basically saves base Asta at this point. Rill has a haircut. Honestly, I like his new design. He looks a lot better with his haircut. Also like his new uniform. We get this really cool panel of Rill flying on top of the Volvre spell that he draws, and Asta flying on top of his Demon Slayer sword. What's really cool here is that Asta can fly on top of his Demon Slayer sword while wielding the Demon Dweller sword, which basically shows that he could probably do Black Slash on top of the Demon Slayer sword. So it shows that he is a pretty versatile mage now, or anti-mage, and basically the combination of Rill and Asta defeat Charmy and the giant sheep. Basically the Heart Kingdom gets really excited, or the civilians that were there get really excited, and basically Rill goes off about how he can't stop thinking about a certain person. This certain person was Dwarven Charmy. Now, Rill remembers that a half a year ago he was taken over by an elf, but he was saved by a goddess. Because Dwarven Charmy looks different. She's taller, thinner, honestly just looks better. And Rill basically fell in love with her. Now if you think about it, Rill fell in love with the girl that beat the shit out of him. Because from his perspective, he was still likely in the body. So he was getting beat up by this girl, by Charmy, and he fell in love with her. And Asta kind of catches on, and he's like, wait, Charmy right here? And Rill's like, no, you're wrong. She wasn't that plump. And then Charmy's like, what do you mean? I'm not that plump. Being that thick is the style now. So basically, Rill doesn't realize that there's a difference between Charmy and her weird dwarven form or whatever. So now we got another competition probably for shipping where it's Charmy who wants YUNO and Rill wants Charmy. So that could be pretty interesting. But finally, guys, this is the big stuff we're finally getting. This is YUNO going towards the village of Haj, and he's kind of getting a lot of memories of what happened there. He thinks of him and Asta versus Revchi. He gets the nostalgia, but then he finds out that William took a necklace from Gildre, Gildre had stolen it from the Shadow Palace. This necklace turns just out to be the magic stone that Yuno's possessed for the entire series, so it looks like Gildre stole it. William got it from Gildre, and now he has it back. Yuno finally makes it to the church, and he sees Sister Lily, and she really wants him to come inside. And this leads to that one man who had basically passed out in a few chapters ago when he went to Hajj. He's sitting down in the bed, looking like he pretty much recovered. And when he sees Yuno, it shows a reflection of Yuno in his eyes, and he's like, it's like I'm seeing Master Seal himself. He's like, moreover than that necklace, there's no mistaking it. Which leaves Yuno and Belle confused. And Sister Lily says this person is a respectable man from the Spade Kingdom. And Yuno says he savagely invaded the Diamond Kingdom. Nowadays, it's one of the most dangerous countries. And then Belle's like, oh, we should probably get rid of him. And then he says, I'm not your enemy. The Spade Kingdom was originally a peaceful country. Despite its extreme cold, the people happily lived there while being ruled by their Grin Bellior family. But then those guys, the Dark Triad, arrived and expelled the Grin Bellior family. They filled the citizens with fear until they ruled over them. Then he says, Master Yuno, all of you are definitely our last hope. In other words, you're a part of the Grin Bellior family. You're the Prince of the Spade Kingdom. Boom! Guys, Yuno is royalty. Alright? People keep saying, oh, his power's unexplained. Yuno is royalty of a different kingdom. So, Yuno, it adds even more evidence that he's not a Mary Sue. But, going for the last chapter, or a few chapters ago, I did the chapter review of, is Yuno the brother of the Dark Triad, or something like that? Well, it turns out he's not. And honestly, I like that. I like that he's not. I like the idea that his family was exiled from the Spade Kingdom. Because you know what this means, guys? This means we know why Yuno was left at the church in Hajj. His family was exiled from the Spade Kingdom, so he was gifted or given or put into, basically, Hajj. I'm sure that this is the guy that dropped him off, but now it's like, what does Asta have to do with this? Why was Asta dropped off? Are they not connected at all, or are they connected? Is this guy Asta's father? I don't know. That's something that we really, hopefully, will find out soon. But yes, Yuno is the Prince of the Spade Kingdom. This adds some really interesting, but potentially bad things to the story. Yes, I'm going to go over the bad first. One thing that I think would be really bad for the story is if because Yuno finds out he is the Prince of the Spade Kingdom, instead of wanting to become the Wizard King and competing with Asta, he focuses goals and aspirations to the Spade Kingdom, becoming the Prince or King of that nation, becoming the equivalent of that nation's Wizard King. I don't think that would be great for the story, the narrative, or the plot. I like that Asta and Yuno are competing for Wizard King. Who knows what can happen here? Because maybe they'll defeat the Spade Kingdom, and they'll be morphed into one, and Yuno will become his own royal house within it, with the combination of Spade and Clover. And there'll be the Kiras, the Vermilions, the Silvas, and then the Grin Belliors, which is Yuno. And that could be 4 royal families, maybe. And then, therefore, he wouldn't have to be necessarily the king, but now that he's royalty, it makes it easier for him to become the Wizard King. That is one thing that I think is really important that Tabaka needs to do, is keep this rivalry within Black Clover between Asta and Yuno, where they both want to be the Wizard King. They've been wanting to do this since the first chapter, and what needs to happen is when the series does end, it needs to come full circle with the characters, where Asta and Yuno are finally competing to become the Wizard King, either through a fight against each other and the winner becomes the Wizard King, or something like that. If now 200 plus chapters into the series, if Yuno drops his goal to become the Wizard King because he finds out he's a Spade Prince, and therefore can become a Spade King, I don't think it's great for the plot. Because what's also interesting is you can tell through the story that it's not just an Asta and Yuno rivalry for the Wizard King and a race to become the Wizard King that's being built up. It's also Leopold and Noel. You have the wind, the fire, and the water, and the anti-magic guy. So you have 3 of the elements from now 3 different royalties, and then you have Asta, who's a peasant, who uses anti-magic gifted by a devil. So this is really interesting. And what I think is good now is we probably won't have too much separation from Asta and Yuno for this arc now. Because now we are directly tying Yuno to the Spade Kingdom, and therefore we can get some Asta and Yuno team-ups probably. I want to see what Yuno has accomplished in the past 6 months in terms of progression of his own power. And I want to see him react to Asta's progression of power. See Asta flying on the anti-magic sword, so Yuno can get that face of him looking back and remembering when Asta couldn't fly on a broomstick. So that is just really interesting here, guys. But like I was saying before, Yuno, people say that his power is not explained. I remember when I made that video the other day of is Yuno a Mary Sue, people were getting mad at me, like saying I was being biased, when no, I provided all the evidence. They're like, no, he's overpowered and it's unexplained. I'm like, alright, well now we have that he's a royal. Royals are more likely to get 4-leaf clover grimoires, so that's what that. The 4-leaf clover explains his power progression, as well as his training. So his power is completely explained now. You cannot use that as a part of the Mary Sue index. He's still not even overpowered, so no. Yuno, I mean, there was all the theories that he was actually a royal of the Clover Kingdom, but now I like it that he's a royal of the Spade Kingdom. Now I just want to know, what is with the Grin Bellior family? Are they completely gone? Is Yuno the last one? Or are others littered throughout the Clover, Heart, and Diamond Kingdom? Were others just imprisoned within the Spade Kingdom? Or do they go to a different continent? Are they in maybe the Seabed Temple? Where are they? Is there more of them? And are they comparable to Yuno? So now, this leads to what I think is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I think we're going to have like something where it is Asta and Yuno versus the Dark Triad. Maybe Noelle and Leopold also sprinkled in there. I think that'd be a great matchup, because basically the Dark Triad and Asta and Yuno are all tied together. The Dark Triad exiled Yuno's family, and they're the whole reason why Asta and Yuno probably even know each other, because Yuno was put into the Clover Kingdom because he was exiled. Asta and Yuno being orphan brothers and having a brother through bond and not blood, Asta's going to be wanting to have Yuno's back in this situation because these guys kind of fucked over Yuno and his family. But also, Asta has ties to the Dark Triad himself, because they're all using the powers of the devil. So I'm really liking this build-up so far. It's really putting things together. I think Tabata is really a great writer when it comes to building things up, because, well, look at where we're at now. Yuno is a Spade Kingdom prince, and now he has ties to the Dark Triad in crazy ways. So does Asta, and then they're also linked together through a brotherhood of bond. So this is something that I think is going to be really crazy and interesting to happen. I don't think Asta and Yuno are going to be able to take on the Dark Triad by themselves, because basically it's been built up that Magicula is way stronger than the Word Devil, and I would probably bet that each of the Dark Triad is stronger than the Word Devil as well, just based on power progression, well, natural power progression through shonen arcs. And with how strong Asta is now after the 6-month training time skip, if they're just as strong as the Word Devil or weaker, I don't see them standing a chance against Asta, as you can tell by him soloing a Spade Kingdom base and effortlessly defeating a Spade Kingdom captain. Yeah, I think that the Devil users, the Dark Triad, are going to be really strong. So hopefully we get to see Asta and Yuno fighting alongside each other. And what I really want, I think this would be amazing, is the Big Four is what I'm going to call them within Black Clover. I think the Big Four, it's Asta and Yuno and Noelle and Leopold. Now, Leopold doesn't really have a transformation yet. He can use symbols or runes to amplify his magic. But it'd be sick to see something like maybe, I guess Fauna already has it, but like a phoenix where he can actually fly. Because Asta, Yuno, and Noelle, they all have transformations to give them wings so they can fly. So Leopold, maybe if he got something like that, if Leopold gets a transformation, it like almost all but confirms like the kind of theory we've been having that Tabata is building up these four to become like the real four-way competition to become the Wizard King. So I want to see those four fight against the Dark Triad, but that's really just my thoughts. Now, besides the Yuno stuff and the Charmy stuff, not really a lot to talk about, but it just does put in some weird scaling that a Spirit Guardian could not stop just base Charmy after eating a lot. It took base Rill and base Asta to do it, so still though, I'm sure that if in a realistic, non-gaggy fight, because the fight was a bit of a gag because it was Charmy over food, I'm sure that Petrov would probably be above, or at least if he was weaker than them, not that much weaker. But anyways, guys, that's it for this chapter review. Let me know your thoughts down below. We pretty much finally have it explained why Yuno was dropped off the church. He was a royal from the Spade Kingdom. An evil power took over and exiled the royal family, so Yuno was very likely dropped off at the Church of Hajj. Now, we just need to know why Asta was there. Is he also from the Spade Kingdom? Was he a royal as well? A different branch of the Grinbilior family? Maybe a cousin of Yuno? What is happening here? And this is interesting because we already have the Dark Triad. Did they steal Asta's magic with their devil powers, and that's why Asta's magicless? What's going on here? And what makes me think almost that, you know, Asta isn't really connected to Yuno in that sort of a way, where they're both from the Spade, both cousins, is because the guy who came to seek out Yuno, he's not asking for Asta. All he cares about is Yuno. I think he might have been looking for both of them if they were connected that way. Unless if Asta was supposed to be some sort of protector or peasant servant of Yuno just to make sure he survives. Not really sure, but that is something I'm going to point out. But please let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Plus...